Welcome, welcome, welcome back again, Gameyaaad family, to another video. I'm, delighted that you have joined us. Now, there is always an excitement about India's tour of Australia. It creates so many interests around the world. India, in their last test series, was comprehensively beaten at home 3-0 by New Zealand. Something New Zealand hasn't done in ages. That loss will lingers in the back of the minds of the Indian players and the Indian supporters. Their last few trips, however, to Australia, down under, would have been, two memorable series. They would have beaten the Australians 2-1 in 2018-2019 and another 2-1 in 2020 and 2021. So they would have, wanted to complete that three-peat in this series. The difference though in this series is that it will be a long series. It will be 5 long test matches. The first one will start on November 22 in Perth. With the addition of the World Test Championship, it had added some spice to these test matches. India and Australia are leading the table currently. So this series is a clash of the leaders. For India to go straight to the final without having to depend on anyone, they would have to beat Australia in 4 out of the 5 tests. Is that possible? Down under. Let us wait and see. Now we will be looking on the Indian squad. And the Indian squad reads, for the batters, we have Rohit Sharma as captain, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, KL Rahul, Sarfaraz Khan, and Abhimanyu Iswaran. For the wicket keepers, we have Dhruv Jurel and Rishabh Pant. For the bowlers, we have Jasprit Bumrah, vice captain, Mohammad Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, Akashdeep, Arshit Rana, and for the all-rounders, we have Ravichandran Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja, Washington Sundar, and Nitish Kumar Reddy. And in reserves, we have Mukesh Kumar, Navdeep Saini, and Khalid Ahmed. So that's the squad, the Indian squad for the Border-Gavaskar trophy. In my opinion, I think these are the best, batters that could be picked. Some may argue that Ruturaj Gaikwad, should have been included in the squad. But Abhimanyu Iswaran has been knocking down the door with some great innings played at the domestic level in the Ranji and Dulid Trophy, as well as the Irani Cup, scoring some big hundreds, and he deserves his call up to the squad. He averaged this year in the first class matches 78.92. That's some world class, batting from Abhimanyu. So I think, in my humble opinion, I think he deserves his call up. As I would have said earlier in some videos, this tour of Australia will be the acid test for Jaiswal. He has been, ruthless at home. But can he translate that, rich vein of farm at home down under? We will have to wait and see. And this tour will be a huge tour for Shubman Gill also. Jaiswal, let's go back to Jaiswal. Jaiswal would have struggled away from home in South Africa with the ball nipping around. But in Australia, it will not be the same seam movement and swing bowling. So let's see if he will be dominant down under as he is at home. Shubman Gill will be out for the first test at Perth. He is nursing an injury. Rohit Sharma also will be out of the first test. So this will give opportunities for other players such as Jurel and KL Rahul, for example. Shubman Gill has not been, Shubman Gill has been in Australian conditions before, and I think that condition would have suited him as a tall, player who loves to play on the front foot and with those, bounce. I think Australian condition will suit his style of batting. But so with Rohit and Virat at the back end of their career, I think the torch will soon be passed on to Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal to take the team forward, right? So this will be a big tour for both Jaiswal and Shubman Gill. Let's move on to Virat Kohli. Virat is one of the greatest batters to ever play the game, but he has been struggling for the last few series to make big scores. It has given some fans the belief that Virat is not the player he once was, given that he would have scored only 200s in the last 55 innings, and he is averaging now in his test career 48. And to be honest with you, an average of 48 does not reflect the world-class batter Kohli is. But the question is, where does Kohli plays his best cricket? And let me tell you, that's in Australia. So many of his best innings were played in Australia. He likes the pace, he likes the bounce, and there is not much seam movement in Australia. And no low bounce is expected. Kohli averages over 54 in Australia, and he has scored 1,352 runs, against the Australians in 13 matches. Right? He would have scored 450s against them and 6 big hundreds. So Kohli likes to play in Australia, and nobody knows the conditions in Australia in the Indian team as Virat Kohli. Rohit is another world-class batter in the Indian lineup, but his numbers are not very good against Australia, to be honest with you. Right? Rohit, my apologies, would have averaged 31.38 against Australia. He would have played 7 matches against them, and he would have scored 408 runs. He has not scored a century against Australia, but he has scored 350s against them. Can this be the series Rohit will come good? We will have to wait and see. And to be honest with you, if Rowit and Virat click in this series will be a different series, I can tell you. Now let's move on to Rishabh Pant. If there is one player the Australians will lose sleep over, is Rishabh Pant. He has been in exceptionally good form. Even though India, a recent 3-0 thrashing by New Zealand, at home, saw where the Indian team struggled. Rishabh Pant, however, Rishabh Pant emerged as the highest run scorer, amassing over 200 runs. He scored 261 runs in the 3 matches at an average of 43.5. His talent, include 3 half centuries with an heart-wrenching near-miss century in the opening test in Bangalore, where he was dismissed for 99 runs. Rishabh Pant has been a revelation to India's cricket, especially in overseas conditions, and his love for playing against Australia is well documented. He has been instrumental in India's back-to-back Border-Gavaskar trophy wins on Australian home soil, contributing at crucial moments. His fearless batting and his ability to shift momentum makes him a key player for India. In Australia, Pant scored a stunning 624 runs in 7 tests at a remarkable average of 62.4, including a century and 2 50s. Known for his fearless approach, he has a knack for disturbing the rhythm of opposing teams. Pant's form will be crucial in ensuring that India continue to challenge the Australian team, with expectation high for him to carry his sublime performance in the series. Now, with Pant out of the way, I think Safras, Jurel, and KL Rahul and the others will get their chance on the tour as well. So they have to be, fit and ready and raring to go. One person I think India will miss is Mohammad Shami, especially in the first match. India needs to get Mohammad Shami fully fit for the pink ball test in Adelaide, where the ball is expected to seam around. Now, we move on to Jasprit Bumrah, the linchpin of India's bowling attack, or India's pace bowling attack. Without Shami, I think there will be an over-reliance on Bumrah though. Bumrah's performance against Australia, however, in the last 2 tours include 32 wickets at an outstanding average of 21.25, which I believe was very instrumental in India's historic back-to-back, wins in the series down under. Bumrah's unorthodox action, sharp pace, and ability to extract movements in both directions make him a nightmare for batters, particularly on Australia's pace-friendly wickets. The Australian batters, well aware of Bumrah's threat, and are preparing for a stern test in Perth starting on November 22. Mohammad Siraj need to come to the party. Mohamed Siraj currently is a bit out of form, and Krishna, Rana, Akashdeep are a bit inexperienced. So Mohamed Siraj needs to come to the party to help out Jashpreet Bumrah. And with Kuldeep out, India will have to take 3 finger spinners, with Jadeja and Ashwin not at their best in the last Test series against New Zealand. Sundar was excellent in that series. I remember he bagged even 7 wickets in one innings, right? But I'm not sure that India will play all 3 spinners in the first match, given that Perth is known for fast bowling. India would want Nitish Reddy to play that Shardul Thakur role at number 8. So, in essence, I think the squad is a well-balanced squad, this Indian squad. I believe the Indians are a little bit worried as some of their most experienced batters are unavailable, and some of them who are available are out of nick. But let us wait and see what will happen. I know this series will be a belter. I'm telling you. Stay tuned, Gameyaaad family. I will be looking on the Australian squad in the next video. To be honest with you, the Australians are the favorite to win this series, as they are the home team. And with these modern cricket, the home team generally prepares the pitch for their liking, so that they can play well. But this Border-Gavaskar trophy will be very significant for Rohit and Virat to cement their legacy, and also in an attempt to get to the World Test Champion final, and also to win that 3-peat down under. Can they do it? Let us wait and see. Stay tuned for the next video, as I will be going through the Australian squad. God bless.